You just don't know what you're gonna get. You throw him in a bracket, and he's just gonna blow it all up.
Exactly.
He's gonna reject it.
Like, again, like, I feel like Hype Slayer is the best word for him because he's the kind of player who goes into a tournament and you don't think he's going to win, but he's gonna take out some names on the way, some big names.
He takes out the favorites.
Yeah, he does.
In that first round, and then they just never sign up again. They're traumatized.
Feels bad.
As we conclude this best of 3 series, the winner of this is going to go up to face Gogo Joey in that upper bracket finals. Here in the bottom left-hand corner map, spotting all the way in the bottom left-hand corner of Jagannatha, KBBLE. He is going to be representing Intensity Sports all the way from District 3, I want to say. I don't actually remember what he was saying last week as he was talking about districts win Saigon. He is the dancing pug. He is the cat himself. He is the pelican case. MeomaikA.
Just carrying the scene in his mouth. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Jagannatha LE, we have the pink Protoss player hailing from the land of Hong Kong. It is, of course, the hype killer himself, Bistork.
I don't even know what to expect. Well, we don't see a Forge First this time coming out from Bistork, which is, I gotta be honest, on Jagannatha, that's what I thought it'd be. Could be cannon rushes, could be just a very, very quick +1 charge at timing.
That's exactly. I think the most important part is that we haven't had the luxury of casting Bistork this year. Throughout the entirety of 2021, and a lot has happened in the meta, you know, especially in this matchup. And I don't know if Bistork has been keeping up. I don't know if he has adopted some of the new styles, or if he has just kind of stuck and done his own thing.
Yeah, honestly, I do not typically look at Bistork as a player who will, adapt to the meta. He is somebody who likes to play his own style, and when it works, it's because he really refines it down. But when it doesn't, it's usually because it's very much a knife's edge. He likes to play it. Oh, I guess you could. Maybe that's a little too strong, but yeah, his style is definitely pretty easy to counter when his opponents know how he wants to play. But if it doesn't, then it can do a lot. It can be very, very lethal. Yeah. And Bistork gonna be taken to the skies.
Yeah, with Bistork, it's, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. He just kind of throws it out there, and then we'll see what happens. He's very MeomaikA in that way. Except you could definitely argue that MeomaikA has more of a method to the madness. Speaking of, we just see MeomaikA going for a very fast E-Ray chamber, going for a very fast +1 melee. Oh, and will this get scouted?
It will not at the moment be scouted by Bistork. He's prioritizing some of these drone kills. I don't think Bistork sees it.
He sees it. He sees the Evo chamber.
He sees it. Okay. Is he researching? Well, I guess it doesn't really matter. You got an Evo chamber that early. You're going to be researching from it.
Exactly. So he is aware that the Ling Flood is on the way. Ooh, interestingly, we do see the Void Ray coming out first by Bistork. And this is going to be key here in the defense of a potential Ling Flood.
Yeah, Void Ray is definitely what you want in that scenario. Oracles are great, but they run out of energy.
Yeah. There's a give and take, right? Oracles, they have much higher DPS. They kill Lings a lot faster compared to Void Rays. But as you said, they do run out of energy at some point. And of all people, we're talking about MeomaikA here. Like, just because he went for +1 melee, I mean, he could still go roaches.
He definitely could, but also, he'd be the type to think, I got that +1 melee upgrade. I should, try my best to not use the Roach range upgrade. Just smush them right onto the wall, onto my opponent. Just make sure they're using their claws.
Exactly. But yeah, originally MeomaikA may have had one plan, and because he knows that he got scouted, he can go for something else. Much like much like Oreo did in his series, where if he would get scouted, you adapt, you kind of switch things up, you switch gears, and try to go for something else. And that's why we do see the Bailey Nest going down for MeomaikA.
Yeah, no longer gonna be a Ling Flood, or at least not quite yet. I do like that he's trying to go for Carapace here. can survive at least one more attack from the Adepts.
That he can. Meanwhile, this is a little bit worrying. You know, the Void Ray will be dealing a decent amount of damage now that 2 Void Rays are out, and MeomaikA, he only has 2 queens, so this is a little bit dangerous. The third could go down.
Yeah, with their prismatic alignment having completely untouched, they're both just chipping away at it. Thankfully, the prismatic alignment did run off a cooldown, it seems, so yeah, they're not going to be able to take that hatchery out just yet, but as I said, there's not too much anti-air. The Spore does borrow, and that's going to be key. One of these Void Rays does get taken out, couldn't quite escape in time, but that's kind of fine for Bistork right now, Light, as that is not 4 gates, that is not 6 gates, that is 7 gates.
That is 7 gates. Adept all in coming across the map from I almost said MeomaikA, from Bistork. What's important is that MeomaikA traded fairly well there. He traded a single queen for a Void Ray. Like, that's pretty huge. That means the threat of this Void Ray is so much lower in comparison to what it was earlier. But what's important is the Adepts, and unfortunately MeomaikA has no scouting information whatsoever.
Yeah, and we were kind of joking a little bit earlier on. You know, MeomaikA is definitely the type of player who, if his +1 melee gets scouted, he would look into trying to go into a Roach Warren or something like that. He hasn't this game, and that is very potentially what comes to bite him.
Oh, exactly. What's important is that he does have a bunch of Banelings defensively, and he has a bunch of stack defense, so he can still get a nice wraparound, he can still get some juicy connections and deal with these Adepts.
One bad shade. That is all MeomaikA really needs right now to really cripple Bistork. But Bistork is playing this out very, very careful. He's well aware that MeomaikA can just exploit that.
Oh god, we'll see how good the splits are. We'll see if he ends up committing to any of these shades. Again, MeomaikA is just ready and waiting to pounce on the army. Meanwhile, more and more Adepts are being warped in. There is a Warp Prism, so if Bistork wishes, he could try and sneak into the main base and try and hit 2 places at once.
He's kind of looking to do right now. How's the shade looking? Does not commit to the shade. The right choice. Definitely the right choice. Oh, but a couple of Banelings do crash in. Not the best split in the war right now for Bistork. He's keeping a couple of his Adepts alive, but the rest of the Banelings do manage to connect, and that's all of the wind. Not even just the wind, Light, just all of the air getting taken out from Bistork's sails. He's in a vacuum right now.
Exactly, it all got sucked up by the Meo cat that is MeomaikA. And what's important is that, mate, these aren't just Ling Bane. This is a 1-1 Ling Bane, mate. They just absolutely tore apart the Adepts.
They can survive quite a lot more from these Adepts, as even though they do have their glaives, that's just attack speed of an upgrade. They don't actually hit harder, they just hit a little faster. MeomaikA's Lings can definitely survive a couple of hits from that. Doesn't want to overstay his welcome too much, but yeah, he's just using his leverage to try to go for some kind of a counter harass, even busting through that wall.
I was about to say, he can just bust through the wall. There's literally nothing here. There's a sentry, so potentially a force field can save Bistork and give him a little bit of time, but the problem is that Bistork is not making anything with this robo. He's waiting for the Robotic Spade to finish up to go into Disruptors or Colossus.
Yeah, it's only one force field that Sentry has as well. A little bit too late right now. And the rest of the Banelings do manage to get in or connect with 2 of these gateways. A lot of production being taken out for Bistork over here. Forced upon the battery overcharge. All of the force fields being used over here, but not going to be enough. A little bit of mistiming here, as one of them did just finish up before the rest happens. Colossus trying to be chroned out. And that's a great unit to use against Lings over here, but I'm not convinced it's going to come out. I mean, Pylon did get taken out.
Exactly. That it did. Mate, +1 Banelings don't give a damn about your wall. Immediately the gateways fell. The robo, it's going to go down. We got Lings all over the place. And with this MeomaikA, he's done it.
GG is called. I wanted that Hong Kong Derby, Light. But you know what? MeomaikA versus Gogo Joey, next best thing. GG indeed. And we're back to very, very familiar territories. We were on, I don't want to call it uncharted territories. We had a little bit of an idea of what to expect so far in this tournament, but it's definitely not as familiar as our matchup that we're getting into next.
Oh, exactly. This is what we know and love in Grand Platypus Open. It happens every single week, whether it's in the semis or whether it's in the finals. We are getting into ZVZ MeomaikA versus GoGo Joey.